It's so easy to always be wearing one of our various hats: mother, business owner, or wife, daughter, etc. I realized a while ago that I was always either in mothering mode or business mode. But what about being just me? What about having some time without wearing either of those hats? I asked myself, is that possible? Is it indulgent? Selfish even? Because the demands of business and motherhood, not to mention major life change, can be so varied and so full on, it's really easy for us to be just lost amongst it all, to cram every pocket of time with getting things done, being productive and being the present parent. And while business and motherhood are undoubtedly worthy and fulfilling endeavors, what about us? What about space to just be? What about time to breathe? And that's when I came up with a whole new schedule for myself, and specifically an entirely different approach to Mondays. Morning, my love. Happy Monday, or it's Monday at least as I'm filming this. So I've just come in from the school run, dropped my daughter at school, and Mondays are me days. They are also reset days. They are seeing me through this time of change and transition so well, and I want to bring you along with me for this Monday reset day so you can see behind the scenes. I'm going to explain a little bit about why I started taking all day on Mondays for myself a couple of years ago, what it's done for me, for my health, for my business, my life, all of the things. But first, we're going to do some yoga because I always start with something for me. Right, let's have a chat. Okay, so Mondays, like I said, I take off every week. So I don't work on Mondays. So I have my own business, my clients, my team know not to expect to hear from me on Mondays. I don't do any work on a Monday. And my daughter's at school typically on Mondays. So it's a me day. So I'm going to tell you about the reason why this started. And then I'm going to tell you like what it's done for me and how it's getting me through now as well. How I'm structuring my Mondays right now is a little bit different than I have previously. So how it started is that after I started my business, maybe a year in, so I've been working with a coach myself since before I even had my business. She said to me, "You seem to get sick quite a lot." And I was a little bit like triggered by that. I was like, judge me, I just don't have the very great constitution. I just pick up what's going around. And she said, is it serving you in some way? And so I gave this some thought, and what I realized is this. Previously, I'd worked for 10 years at an investment bank, and while my daughter was small and I was trying and struggling and often failing to juggle career and motherhood, the only time when I would be able to take off my business hat, take off my motherhood hat, and just chill and just do something just for me, whether that was just laying on the sofa and watching Netflix or whatever, was when I was sick. And I was never getting really sick, just sick enough to actually sort of enjoy, if I'm being fully honest, that downtime. And once I realized that, that was a revelation for me. So I started to make sure that I was carving out space in my schedule just for me. So back then it started looking like maybe an afternoon a month or a full day a month. And I started to build myself up to it because I was so used to using 25 hours a week back then of like the school hours to really focus on my business. So I was pulling back my hours a little bit every now and then so that I could have some time for me. And what happened was I stopped getting sick. It's not that I never get sick, but I used to get sick really regularly, and now it's a really rare occurrence. So that's how all of this started. But before we do anything else, because it's the morning and it's Monday, I need a cup of tea. Scenes of my life right now, boxes, stuff out, need to pack, half packed. This is just reality. Okay, so I just came in to make myself a cup of tea and I realized that I have some dough that needs shaping, so I'm going to do that first. And actually, baking pretty much always at this point features in my Mondays. If you've watched any of my videos previously, you'll know that baking is very therapeutic for me, and as Mondays are a reset day, that is about resetting various things in life, which we'll get onto in a minute, but it's also about resetting me energetically, and baking is just one of those things that I do for my soul. So let's get this dough shaped and then I'm going to make a cup of tea. they can sit and rest for a minute before I put them in the fridge. So now I get to make my cup of tea. Favorite mug? Haven't packed these mugs yet because I'm kind of in a quandary about these. These are handmade mugs. They're so beautiful. They're made by my mum. There's her stamp. I love drinking tea out of them so much. It brings me so much joy, and I really want to take them with us in the van. Not all of them, of course, because we've got about 12 or so. But I'm worried because in the van they'll rattle around. Will they chip? Will they get broken? Will I be super sad when they do? We've got some older mugs that she made before I asked her to make this specific set for us, and that we quite often take those in the van. But I just really love these mugs. I haven't decided yet. Okay, so I just got changed while my tea was brewing, so let's grab my tea and some toast, and I think let's sit outside for a bit. Let me talk a little bit more about my Monday reset days. So like I said, I started scheduling more me time when I'm not being the business owner, not being the mother, just being me. But I noticed that over time, it kind of became something that would sometimes slide, something would come up. Maybe I wouldn't end up having that me day that month, or the afternoon would get pushed or whatever. And so I realized this because I then started getting sick again. It's a pattern for me. And I also noticed that when I would hear people saying, oh, I only work like 4 days a week or 3 days a week, I was a bit like, ooh, a bit envious of that. And I think envy is a really interesting emotion sometimes because it actually shows you what you want. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to make it a weekly thing from now on. Every Monday is a me day. I'm not going to work in the business anymore on Mondays, and I will just have some time to myself. So I couldn't implement it straight away because I had to shift and maneuver things around in my business, but it didn't actually take that long. And so Mondays have been me days for a good few years now. So the point really for my Monday me days and how they're a bit of a reset has been for a long time that it's just that break. So we have family time on the weekend. I've got a lot of business time in the week, and it delineated the weekend from more of the working week. And it just felt really nice to have a full day where I get to do whatever things light me up, whatever things top me up, take care of myself. I will quite often go for a really long walk on the beach on a Monday, or see my best friend, or, you've seen me doing yoga this morning. I'll be thinking about prioritizing things that light me up so I go into the week in the best energy possible. And so that's how I approached Mondays for a while. And sometimes I would just spend like a rainy Monday watching films on the sofa, or I would go to the spa with my mum. In fact, that's what I'm doing next Monday. However, I then started to introduce something else to my Monday reset days that really helped me bandwidth-wise over the rest of the week. So mums, and especially if you're a mum and a business owner, let me know if you can relate to this. I really dislike life admin. Just that kind of stuff that accumulates. There's always something to do, always something on that life admin to-do list. And as a consequence, I would spend a weekend thinking, oh, I don't really want to take care of that now. That return, or planning meals, or that permission slip for school, phoning up about the car insurance, researching that thing that you're going to buy, but it's not a super exciting purchase, just that stuff that accumulates. So I would spend the weekend thinking, I don't really want to do it. It's a weekend. I want to relax. I want to spend time with my daughter, spend time as a family. I don't really want to be squirreled away either at my office or on my phone, taking care of admin stuff. I'll do it in the week. But then the week would roll around and I would either be, before or after school, spending time with family, with my daughter, that kind of thing, Or in the hours that I'm working, I'd be spending time on my business and or carving out time for me. So I do carve out time for myself every day. You've seen my morning mindset routine, right? And so I didn't want to do it in the week either. So it just kept getting pushed, and consequently my life admin to-do list got super long. And it was just really bothering me. And so I decided a while ago that part of my Monday reset would be a life admin power hour. So you're gonna see me do that a little bit later today. And so for a while now, this has been the shape of my Monday reset days. I take my daughter to school. I do a couple of the usual things like laundry. Monday is clean sheets day. And I will do something for me, some kind of movement. I've obviously already done my morning mindset routine. And then I will spend some time relaxing. This is always a non-negotiable on a Monday for me. It's not a proper reset if I haven't had some time just chilling. More often than not, I like to read a book. That's the kind of thing that really helps me unwind. So something for me, some movement, some relaxation, always the first thing on my Monday. So the thing about my Monday resets is it's not about being productive. There is a lot of stuff on YouTube and elsewhere about productive day in my life, and I get the kind of desire for the satisfaction that comes with feeling like you spent a really productive day, but I think we value productivity a little bit too highly as a society. I think we need to embrace slowness and downtime more because we live such busy lives. We have so many inputs, you know, from social media and everything else, that it's quite a lot in, and it's nice if we can just kind of quiet ourselves and go a little bit slow. So to counteract that, the Monday reset for me is not about being super productive. Yes, I have my admin power hour later in the afternoon, but it is an hour and an hour only, and I put on a timer just to kind of like get done so that I feel better about that list getting smaller as I move into the week. But that's about clearing some bandwidth. But the point of the Monday in its entirety and the reset is not to be super productive all day. It is about prioritizing rest, recuperation, relaxation, health, well-being, nourishment, whatever I feel falls into that category that's going to top me up. So I feel I've reset myself for the week. Okay, we're back in the kitchen. Apologies if there's a hum in the background. That's the oven preheating. So next on my list today, on my reset day, is some more baking. Like I said, love baking, tops me up. So I'm gonna be baking some cookies. So I've got some dough here that's been chilling and long fermenting in the fridge, so it's got sourdough starter in it. So I've got oatmeal, raisin and cinnamon cookie dough in here. I'm gonna make that into some cookies. One of the reasons I'm doing this is because I've got a load of raisins I want to use up, so I'm trying to go through the kitchen and the dried goods and stuff that we're not taking and use as much as I possibly can. But I like to bake something on a Monday, obviously in addition to my bread, for a sweet treat to have through the week, mainly for my husband and my daughter. Oh, this is going to be quite stiff to use. Mainly for my husband and my daughter, for them to have like lunches and that kind of thing, but also a little bit for me too. So this is something I just like to do on a Monday. So I've got a ton of dough here, as you can see. It's quite a lot. It's going to make loads of cookies, but what I'm going to do is also freeze some of the dough in balls, and then we can just take them out and bake them when we want them. Yay. So something that has changed for my Mondays recently, so like I said previously, I'd quite often just spend the whole day just hanging out, doing things for fun. But lately I've been really using Mondays to help me with a little bit of our preparations for van life, because we only actually at this point have just a few weeks before we're actually setting off. So what I don't do is spend all of Monday being productive and getting stuff done. Tempting though that is, per my previous video and how I'm preparing for change, I need to make sure that I'm looking after me. So, as you've already seen, my Mondays right now, in terms of reset, there's still that energetic reset at the beginning of the day, moving my body, relaxing, that kind of thing. Baking is relaxing for me too. But then what I do towards the end of the afternoon, before I have to go back and pick my daughter up from school, is that I have that admin power hour, and a lot of that admin right now will be focused on prep for van life. And then I have a little chunk of time, probably about half an hour, maybe an hour max, just before school pickup, when I am doing something else that's going to further the dream. So that might look like a little bit of packing or organizing in advance. So Today, I'm probably gonna pack up some of my office. I think that's what would feel good. Okay, change of plan with the cookies. So I've managed to get this many rolled and ready for the oven. So I'm gonna bake those, but then this dough is so hard that I'm really struggling to like chip bits off. So I think what I'm gonna do is put it back in the fridge, and then after school with my daughter, we'll get it out of the fridge, let it sit, come a little bit closer to room temperature, and then get her help rolling them out. But for now, this is enough that we can eat some today, and I can have one after my lunch with a coffee. Just set my alarm on my phone. These are only going to take about 10 minutes to bake, so rather than go off and do something and get distracted, which is kind of classic me, I'm going to actually just stand here and plan my meals for the week. So I don't always do this on a Monday, sometimes get it done on a Sunday, so I don't need to, but it is a good kind of reset activity for me. I like to largely plan our meals. I don't stick to it meticulously. Sometimes on the day I don't feel like the thing that I've planned, or I'll switch the days around, but I like to know largely what we're eating and then do an online food order too, so that I don't have to go to the supermarket. And then I also need to check on my starter, see what's going on with it. I think it needs some attention. Might need to give it a feed. Okay, this is the real life behind the dream. This room is pretty messy. I'm halfway through sorting it out to be ready to pack it down, but also still using it. And also on the weekend, my daughter will quite often come in here and play Roblox, because she's obsessed with Wild Horse Island, of course, anything horsey. So the first thing I'm going to do for today's reset activity in here is just reset this space a bit, clear it down so I actually can do my admin power hour and not feel like I'm just arriving in a mess, which is how it feels right now. Oh, how much better is that? Just a completely reset space, clean surface. I've got my nice oil diffuser. I popped some bergamot oil and lemon oil in there, so that can start to smell good. Got the window open, letting some fresh air in. Now I can sit down and get on with my power hour and just feel good about it and not feel cluttered. You know what they say? Clear space, clear brain. I don't know, do they say that? You know what I mean though. It's a thing, right? So the next thing I'm going to tackle is this. This is the kind of like life admin box. You know, all of the like papers and things that float into the house that need some kind of attention. There's quite a bit of a build up in here. I'm going to go through and just try and get as much cleared and done and sorted as possible. I really don't like this sort of work, but getting it done feels really satisfying. And so I'm going to just put on a podcast and listen to it and plow through.
Before we bridge it through on the Tesco Group, written by Tesco Underwriting Limited, and we may get paid taxation to their data being processed, sometimes record calls. You are moving forward and your call will be answered as soon as possible.
Whew. Well, that was certainly a power hour. I feel like I got a ton done. I unsubscribed from a load of mailing list, the physical mail that's been coming. I set up our redirect for while we're gone. I paid a bill. I phoned my car insurance company. That took ages. Moved a massage appointment. Logged an Amazon return. I mean, that is a lot of getting done in one power hour. I feel really good now that I've cleared through a ton of life admin. So I'm gonna go have a little break, sit outside, get some fresh air, move my body a little bit, just like stretch, nothing official, but just to kind of like get the energy moving again. And then I've got about 45 minutes before I have to pick up my daughter. So I think I'm going to I'm looking down here because I have quite a lot of stuff stacked up. I'm trying to sort through my office and get ready to pack up and go. So I think I might continue making some headway on that. And then that's it. That is the Monday reset done. So here's what Monday resets have done for me. It's actually improved my health because I found that link between me not getting time for myself and getting sick all the time. That's the first thing, pretty big deal. It's also just helped me to be more present on the weekends with my daughter because I don't have that kind of like running list of things that I should be doing, and also I know that I'm going to have some time for myself coming up on Monday, so those two things get taken care of. So it just helps me to be much more present in family activities. It's helped me in my business, again for the same reasons. When I feel good, my business goes well. So I really think that actually working fewer hours but bringing your best self and the most quality energy that you can to those working hours is the thing that creates a more sustainable business and more success in the long run. And I've definitely seen that for myself. So these Monday resets have been huge for me. And then right now they are really helping me with the dream life preparations on two fronts. Number one, to my previous video on how I'm preparing for change, it's giving me that break every single week where I can just chill, tend to myself, relax and recuperate, and also to spend a little bit of time in the afternoon furthering things, moving things in the right direction, and making some progress on the myriad things that need to get done to facilitate life on the road. I think I might have said this in a previous video, but the irony is not lost on me that in the pursuit of a simpler, slower, more intentional lifestyle, we've got to wade through a ton of complexity and action taking and just things to get done. I mean, it just seems like, I think this is the thing that doesn't really get shared on YouTube potentially, that there are so many moving parts to be able to wind down your life in one place, to relocate, but also just to spend a year of traveling. There is so much admin, so much organization, so many things that need to be accounted for, figured out, applied for, and done in advance. It's really quite remarkable. I think you don't really realize how much complexity we've introduced into our lives until you attempt to do something like this, until you attempt to wind down a life in one location and either head off onto the road and or relocate somewhere else. It seems like too much. It seems like we've overcomplicated things. So it's really making me think as I'm going through all of this, like, what do I actually want to bring forward with this? Is there anything that I've been having to do to wind stuff down here that I'm like, actually that can just stay. I don't want to wind that back up. And some of it is just the nature of what we're doing and things have to be figured out. You know, we need different insurances, different covers, different licenses. We can't get away from those things, but there's so much else that's in the mix here that is making me think about simplifying life even more. Anyway, those are my thoughts have been coming up, and this is how my Monday me days and Monday resets have been really serving me at this particular time in creating the dream life, but also how they've been serving me over a period of a few years now. But I want to know, do you get a full day or more for yourself every week? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you, and also what kind of things would your reset day involve? We are all different. We all have different needs and desires. I'd be curious to know if you already do a reset day, what does it involve? Or if you're like, actually, I want to start that, what would you be putting into yours? In the next video, I'm planning to give you a full update, what's going on with the farm, the relocation, all of those things. So if you're like, what is happening? We know that you didn't get the house at auction, so what's been happening since then? I'm going to be bringing you up to speed and bringing you behind the scenes of our most recent trip to Ireland. So stay tuned for that, and until next time, my love, go and live your dream. Bye for now.